Consulting. I'm your director, and I'm super excited that you're here for Coffee and Profit Share. This month, we have a special guest, Press McKissack. Press is the regional director for the Ohio Valley region, and he's going to be talking about his profit share journey. And without further ado, Press, take it away.
All right. Well, good morning. We aren't y'all. Everyone's in Colorado, so it is still morning there. I'm on the East Coast right now. I'm not in my normal location. I'm actually at the Ubaldini's house today, which is perfectly fitting for the topic of profit share. We're going to be celebrating Nikki and Gary Ubaldini, and if you don't know who they are, they're the regional owners of the South Florida region. And Jim and Linda, my parents, sponsored them into the company. And so kind of full fun circle moment today. I'm doing 2 talks on profit share today, and I'm in Nikki's house. So you can see her beautiful background. I don't know what that is, but it's beautiful. Makes me look good. I like it. And I also brought for everyone today. So it's coffee, but it's also t-shirt too. So I've got build wealth, change lives, create a legacy. This is our, this is what Linda and I talk about a lot when we talk profit share. So I've got my coffee, and I hope y'all are ready to go because I'm about to bring it for the next 30, 45 minutes or so. And I have a really unique perspective in the company. Most people, when they join KW, and a lot of times they're the first generation, right? Like you're the first person in your family, maybe to be in real estate, and you're trying to make a name for yourself. Well, my perspective is a little different. I'm actually second generation. And so I got to watch my parents, Jim and Linda McKissack, who you may or may not know. They're the #1 profit share earners in our company. In the lifetime of being Keller Williams, does anyone know how much profit share they've earned? If you know, put it in the chat. Take a guess. How much profit share do you think Jim and Linda McKissack have earned? #1 profit share earners in the company. How much do you think? And also, by the way, this is going to be interactive today. So get ready. If you can get by a keyboard, get by your keyboard. I love it. $1 million, $2.5 million, 3.7. Guess what? It's over $15 million. I'm going to say that again. $15 million. That's like real passive income that just shows up every month. Not like, we have a lot, our family has a lot of rental properties too. We love that game. But rental properties, you still, when the toilet doesn't work, what do you got to go do? You got to go unclog the toilet, right? Profit share doesn't work that way. Jim and Linda, and anyone who gets profit share, you get a check on the 21st of every month, and it just shows up. And so it is truly the best kind of passive income. And so I got to watch Jim and Linda. I'm the youngest of 4 in our family. So they came into KW, and I got to watch as they went from $600,000 in debt to that kind of money, that kind of passive income money. And it's all because of the gift that Gary Keller has given all of us, which, by the way, is equal opportunity, unequal reward. Anyone in this company has that opportunity if you choose to do it. So with that being said, I am going to pull up I'm going to share my slides here, and we'll walk through what I want to share with you today. You guys are now, go easy on me. You're the first group to get to see my new presentation that I put together on this topic. Russ, your timing was perfect because I've actually been working on you're going to hear the story in a minute. And over the last year, we've had some incredible experiences and results we've helped people get around profit share. It's actually one of Linda and I's life missions, which is to help people go and take advantage of their opportunity in profit share. So you guys are going to get the first to see some of the amazing results that people have gotten. So here's what I want to share with you today. This is going to be our topic: how to sponsor over 100 people into Keller Williams in the next 12 months, leveraging a recruiting website. Now, here's what I need you to do. Before I go into all of this, because first off, some of you are like, hey, I just want to get my first person in my downline. Or, hey, it'd be great if I could just, like Mo always tells everyone, how do I get 15? So what I've learned from Gary Keller is you always coach and teach to the people who want to do it the highest level. But here's the deal. If you don't want to recruit 100 people, oh, darn, you got 15, right? If you want to go for 15 or 5 or 30 or 50, whatever that number may be, I'm going to show you a process in a very unique opportunity for how you can go do that in the next 12 months. So if you're ready, let me see in the chat, say, I'm ready. I'm ready if you want to learn how you can go recruit that many people or more in the next 12 months. Okay, so, but here's the deal. I need a commitment before we go. My ask of you is this. As soon as you know, you're going to feel it. You'll feel it. It'll click. As soon as you know that a recruiting website is the key to 10xing your downline, my ask is you go all in. Because here's the deal. Here's the reason why I say this is this. We talk about profit share a lot in this company. But for whatever reason, a lot of us walk over dollars to get to dimes. Meaning you're going to spend your career in this company and you're going to focus on one thing, which is selling houses. The problem with that, if you only do that one thing, you can make a lot of money doing that. Yes, we all are in the best industry in the world. The problem is, if that's all you do, you're going to look up. And I know this because I sat next to Linda for 3 years when I first got out of college, and I listened to her get the phone calls. Linda is the person in Keller Williams that gets the phone calls from people who are ready to retire but can't. And the reason for that is because they have not spent time focusing on building passive income and building wealth. And they want to all move to Florida, which I'm in Florida today. I get it. It's beautiful here. It's a lot different than Ohio, which is where I live right now. But they all want to move to Florida, but they can't. And the reason for that is because they don't have any passive income. So my commitment, my ask is this. As soon as you know that a recruiting site can help you do it, I'm asking you to consider going all in. Now, when I say going all in, you're probably thinking, okay, Press, what does that actually mean? This is not going all in. This is someone putting up their lights for Christmas. Can we all agree that's not going all in? That is going all in. That's what all in looks like. Okay. Now, if that doesn't help, let's look at this visual. Oh, sorry, y'all. 1 second. Okay. This girl is not going all in, right? She is actually going the opposite direction. This girl went all in. She went all in, and God bless her, because I've got 2 and they're 3 and 5 and they're a lot of work. So this is going all in. Now, for those who, Taylor Swift's been the craze right now, right? She's been going all over the country. Everyone's so excited to see Taylor Swift in concert. These people are at the concert, but did they really go all in? These people, they went all in. That's what you got to do if you're going to go all in. So that's my ask. So if you're committed, put in the chat right now, yes, if your commitment to me is you will go all in as soon as you know that this is the way you can go to next year downline. All right, let me see it. Okay, good. I got the commitments. So here we go. Just again, quick recap on our family. Jim and Linda, #1 profit share owners, our company. They've spent a career here at Keller Williams. It is true in this company, you bloom where you're planted. And they chose to spend a career here, and it has benefited them greatly in terms of not just passive income, but other opportunities. My wife and I, Anna, have followed in their footsteps. I made a commitment to Gary Keller. I will spend my career here. I've watched it change my family's life, and I'm committed to it changing my family's life, and also those who choose to go all in on this company. And so Anna and I have made almost $100,000 in just a few short years of profit share, right? Like, one of the things you probably hear a lot is like, man, if I would have gotten in when I was back 30 years ago when Jim and Linda got in, I could have built amazing profit share. Well, the reality is I'm going to show you people today that are building big profit shares, and they're doing it way faster, in fact, than Jim and Linda ever did it. And we're committed. We're going to help 1,000 people inside of KW. It's a small segment. I hope that can grow, but we're going to help 1,000 people in this company create real financial freedom through profit share. Now, none of us were, 1965. Some of us may have been alive for that time, right? This was a very historic day. I don't know, for whatever reason, I thought it was in the 1800s. It's not. It's in the 1900s. May 6, 1965. Something very historic happened in the world, right? Put in the chat. It says it right there. But what happened on May 6th, 1965? Yeah, Roger Bannister, he passed the 4-minute mile. What once people thought was impossible became possible. And what's interesting is, if you know the story, as soon as Roger did it, what happened shortly after? You had just 46 days later, you had John Landy pass the same mile marker. And then I forget there's a stat that's like, after that, in a very short time, like numerous people crossed the 4-minute mile. Again, what once people thought was impossible became possible. So Why is that even relevant? Because on May 16th, 2017, what I consider the 4-minute mile inside of this company is recruiting 100 people in a year. Very few have done it, and yet a number of people have at this point. And that's my friend in the picture with me. I'm the better looking one on the left. He's the one on the one on the right. This is at his wedding, actually. Last year he got married. He came up to me in 2017. We graduated college a few years before that. We were the ones at 12 years old who were like, we're going to get into real estate. We're going to sell real estate. It's going to be amazing. Well, he gets into real estate and he comes to me after about a year and says, Press, I got a problem. I don't love selling real estate. He goes, I love passive income. I love what your family has done with passive income and what they've taught me. And I love Keller Williams, but I don't love selling real estate. What do I do? He's like having an identity crisis, midlife crisis at 20-something years old. And he goes, Press, do you think Jimmy's taught me how to buy rental properties? Do you think I could learn how to make profit share a business? And seeing that Nick's in my first line of my downline, I'm like, Nick, that's the best idea you've ever had. Let's go figure that out. And so we went and we started asking around the company, who was the best at profit share? And at the time, there was a guy by the name of Brent Mitchell, who still is the king. He's the GOAT, greatest of all time around sponsorship. And Brent was recruiting 100 or more people every single year and had been doing it for the last decade. And so we're like, well, let's find out what he's doing, because I am a believer that you do not need to reinvent the wheel. You need to go find out who's doing it the best and go model what they do, because that is the fastest way to have results. So we get on a call with Brent Mitchell. He blows our mind for about an hour with his unique process for how he's leveraging a website and the internet and generating leads and then working those leads. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, my mind is blown at what's possible thanks to technology, leverage, automation, some amazing, powerful things. And I get to the end of the call, I'm taking tons and tons of notes, and he stops and he says, guys, here's my only ask. My only ask is that you actually go and do this. And I'm like, that's really weird. Why is he saying that? I'm like, yeah, Brent, we're on the call because we're going to go do like what you told us. Why are you saying that? He goes, because what you're about to realize is the hurdles that you're going to have to go through to build what I've built. And I've had this call with hundreds of people, and less than, I think, 3 had actually gone out and tried to do what he had done. I'm like, that's a really low success rate. Like, that's not good. So I committed to him. And when I give someone my word, I give them my word. And I said, Brent, we're going to go do it, and we'll figure it out. And it may not be great, but we're going to go try. So we went out, and I spent the next 3 months. Nick is not technical at all. So I'm like, Nick, I'll go build it. You just do it. Right? You do it. I'll build it. So I went and I spent 3 months, and I had been learning a lot about digital marketing, online marketing, sales at the time, which is kind of funny how I believe God works in our lives in certain ways. He had prepared me for that moment. And so I spent 3 months building what Brent said to go build. Built a website. I built out email automation. I wrote out 6 months plus of email copy. I built an ebook. All this stuff we went and built because of what he said to do. Plus, I took the knowledge of what I had gained from my studies in marketing and sales. And after 3 months, it was done. It wasn't pretty, but it was done. And so by August 2017, I had built, and I honored my commitment to go and do it. And now what I want to show you is Nick's numbers from focusing on profit share over the next 4 years with a recruiting website. Year number 1, he sponsored 79 people into the company. That's not bad after your first year of saying, I'm gonna go all in. His second year, Nick sponsored 99 people into the company. Could he have not gotten one more person? I mean, seriously, 90, how in the world? I mean, I should have dropped my license and let him recruit me back or something, because that's ridiculous, 99. But then what's so cool is in year 3, Nick passed what I consider the KW 4-minute mile, and he recruited 128 people in a single year into our company. And then in the 4th year of doing it, he recruited 163 people. So take a second, I want you to just look at that number, because a lot of us are thinking about how to 2x. And I will tell you that it's actually easier to 10x than it is to 2x. In fact, there's a book that you're going to see on all the shelves that's coming out on that topic. It's called 10x is easier than 2x. And Linda McKissack's actually in that book, which is pretty cool. So when you see that in the next few months, go get your copy. But I believe this to be true. It's actually easier to go big than it is to go small. Thinking about how to get 5 or 10 people in your downline is not going to change your life. But thinking about it bigger and how to do it bigger, and it doesn't all have to be in 1 year. It could be spread out over multiple years. It could be spread out over your career. But it's actually easier to do that than it is to go 2x. Now, more exciting than his numbers of people in his downline, let's actually look at his profit share, right? Because that's the end result we all want. So Nick's first year of recruiting, remember, 79 people his first year, he brings in almost $9,000 of profit share. And if we're all honest, $9,000 not changing anybody's life on this call. However, it's truly passive income. That's not bad, right? Not bad. But watch what happens every year after. In the second year of growing his downline, he makes almost $15,000. So what do you notice about his profit share? It almost what? It almost doubles, right? It almost doubles. The third year, it over doubles. It goes to 32,000. And in the fourth year, he crossed 50,000 in annual profit share and over 100,000 in lifetime. In 4 years, he went from 0 to 100,000 in profit share and over 50,000 in lifetime profit share. That's not bad. Like that. Now we're starting to talk about some money. That's right. And again, here's the cool thing. It's 100% willable to your heirs and it compounds over time. So the more Nick builds his downline, what's going to happen to those numbers over time? What do we say in bold? What you focus on, what? Expands. That's right. So in that time, Nick became the number 2 sponsoring agent of all time in KW behind Brent Mitchell, and he recruited over 500 people into the company. So again, remember what I said. What I want y'all to think about is this is possible. Anyone can go build amazing profit share today. You do have to commit though, right? You got to commit to doing it. So here's the challenge that I ran into next. So Nick went out, started having all the success. I'm super passionate about it and excited about it. So people started asking me, hey, Press, will you share about what you did with Nick and how he's doing it? So I started speaking and talking on profit share. The problem I ran into is exactly the problem that Brent Mitchell ran into, which is I would tell everyone what to do and hardly no one would go and do it because of all the hurdles that they had to go through. They had to build the website, they had to create all the drips and all the assets and right, all the things. And real estate agents were not exactly the most technical people, right? Like we actually like people more than we like systems. And so really no one went out and did it. And that's when Brent Mitchell was the first day that really changed my life in a big way. Josh Boatman walking into my office was the second. And so Josh walked in and I love it. 1 + 1 = 5. Does anyone have a team like that, by the way? Because sometimes we have teams that 1 + 1 = -2. Sometimes we have teams that 1 + 1 = 2. But when you have a great team, 1 + 1 actually, I believe, equals 5. It equals more, right? Josh is our regional tech trainer in the region. He walked into my office because he heard me like day after day. I'm having these calls with people. His office is right next to mine. So he walks into my office and says, Press, I think I can build what you did for Nick, but I think I can build it in a way that anyone can use it. And so I was, he's like, do you want me to do that? Do you think that's worth the time and effort and all stuff? And I said, absolutely, because I'm having tons of these calls and no one's doing it. So this is an actual image of Josh. I locked him in an office and said, go to work. So he spent about 6 months going to work and building what we now have as our Profit Share Mastery recruiting websites. And so Josh built it. And thank gosh for Josh. He's now a partner with Linda and I in this, in our recruiting sites. But what I want to share with you now is some of the results of the people, because we launched that in March of last year. So we're now a little over a year into doing this. And to be honest with you all, we thought like 20 people in KW would want to do this because it is very unique. And today we have over 300 KW associates who partnered with us and have gone all in on building their profit share. Now, these are some pretty amazing results. Jules Presta was the #1 sponsoring agent last year in the company. She sponsored 146 people leveraging our sites. Robert Bell, he has an amazing story. Robert Bell is the director of core curriculum at Keller Williams International. He does not have a license. He does not sell real estate, but because he's affiliated with KW, he can build his profit share. And so he went from 0 to 9 people last year in about 6 months of him building his downline. And then two of some of our best, Chad and Carrie Carico, they're out of the Carolinas region, and they sponsored 44 people in 10 months into their downline. Also, I thought I got this right before the call, and so I wanted to share this. Brian and Keiston, who are in y'all's region, are rocking it. Keiston sent me the numbers right before this call. So Brian's tripled his downline to 37 agents in less than a year. He's added 12 agents to his second level, which is amazing. They've created over 4,000 local K-score leads, and 1,700 of those have actually enrolled in K-score. And then Keiston personally has added 7. So hats off to them. I think Keiston might be on the call with us. So Keiston, way to go, man. You're taking ownership of your downline. I love it. And then this story I want to share with you. In the old days, to be honest with you, profit share works best when you are an influential agent. Why? Because your job is to go connect with people and agents and help them see why KW is a better fit. And so there's this thing called credibility that is important. And so in the old day, to be honest with you, are people on teams or agents who are just getting in the business, or MCAs, right? Roles that are in real estate, but not direct to the agent, and to agents not with KW, were at a disadvantage. They did not have an opportunity to go grow their downline. Well, because of this process, that's no longer true. This is one of my favorite stories. She's actually in Dayton, Ohio, which is where I live, in the market center right above our regional office. And her name's Heather. And Heather is the director of ops on a team. She has her license, but she doesn't sell real estate. And in 90 days of using this process, she went from 0 in her downline to 16 people in 90 days. So she did what Mo tells us all to go do over the career of life, our time at KW, go get 15 people. She did in 90 days. And Heather, what's so cool about her is if you know her personality, she's not the person, she will never pick up a phone and cold call an agent. She would never have done it. She would never have grown her downline if that is what was required of her. And using this process, she's able to go really grow her downline. So I am a firm believer, after 12 months, that the vehicle to massively grow your downline in this company is a recruiting website. I've seen it done over and over and over again. And I truly believe, I don't care what role you're in this company. We've got people whose spouses are not in Keller Williams, but they're right. One of you is in, the spouse is in KW and the other one's not. And they're doing it and they're growing their downlines. And so I don't care what role you're in. If you want to grow your downline, this process works. It works really well. So let me kind of break it down for you and show you why this works so well and what it is. This is the traditional way of growing your downline. Networking, cold calling agents, right? Like all the things that most people aren't willing to do, right? And by the way, all those processes work. Look at Linda McKissack's downline. She is proof that model absolutely works. The problem is most of us aren't willing to do that. And so we can either fight it, or we can find maybe a different way to go grow our downline, one that feels good and feels right. And so this is the new way. The new way is you have a recruiting website. You're driving leads to that website. People are opting in to your recruiting site. They go through a series of automation and email drips. It then prompts people to schedule a call on your calendar when you're available. And then, so you're getting people to raise their hands and say, hey, I want to join KW. Will you talk to me? It's very different, right? Very different than what we're used to. You're now doing attraction marketing instead of going out and having to hunt. Now, I try to think about how to make, because it's a little different. You got to shift your mindset a little bit on this process. So it's kind of like if a real estate agent woke up on Monday morning and they looked at their phone and they saw that they had 6 or more listing appointment calls that week that had been scheduled with them. Does that make sense? Like, that's what this process looks like. People are scheduling on your calendar when you say that you're available, which is pretty amazing. So I'm going to kind of unveil the curtain and show you the process. The front 10% and the back 10% is what you do. The recruiting platform system, or the recruiting website, does the middle 80%. Okay, the lead gen is the front 10. which is where we coach you on how you go and generate leads off the internet to your recruiting website. The middle 80% is what the recruiting website does super well, which is the drips, the touches, the prompting them to take the next logical step. And then the recruiting call and the market center handoff, the back 10% is what you do as well. I wish I could automate those 2 steps, but I can't. Best I can get for y'all is 80%. You still got to do the 20%, but here's the good news. It's the 20% that makes the biggest difference, right? So the good news is you're spending time on the most dollar productive things. Now, here's what it looks like. Generally speaking, we leverage 2 of the top lead sources out there on the internet today, Indeed and LinkedIn. Those 2 sources are amazing at finding qualified people who are interested in real estate and attracting them to you. So we coach our people on how to use job boards. We've got other people, though, who are using social media, YouTube, a whole bunch of different strategies, direct mail, a whole bunch of different strategies to generate leads and drive them to your website. Once they hit your website, we send them on a very specific page where they have to self-segment themselves into which category they're in. Every lead that hits your site is in one of 3 categories. They are either a licensed agent, those are the best. They are enrolled in school, those are the second best. Or number 3, they're not in school, those are the majority of the leads, and most of them will never take action, right? So here's the truth. How you communicate with each one of those people is not the same, right? A licensed agent lead that comes to you and says, hey, I want to join KW is not the same conversation as someone who's not in school who says, hey, I'm interested in a career in real estate, right? 2 very different conversations. So what the recruiting site does is as soon as they opt in on your website and self-segment themselves, we have a set of very specific action items that take place on the back end for you through your site. Let's take licensed agents first. I'm going to walk through this quickly. Licensed agents, when those leads come in, we ping your email and say, hey, you've got a EX lead, an experienced agent lead. You need to call them immediately. So they opt in on your site. The next page that they see is to schedule a call on your calendar, right? And they have, we help you set up a Calendly. It's either, I forget if it's Appointment or Calendly. It's one of those 2, but it's a system that they can select what time works for them, but you've already preset those times of when you're available, right? So we prompt them to schedule a call with you. If they don't, or whether they do or they don't, we still hit your email, and your job is to call those leads. Who in here has had a come list me, right? What do you do when you get a come list me, right, lead? You call them, you pick up the phone, because those are people who said, I'm a licensed agent and I want to move. And so someone talk to me, right? Those are the best leads. This enrolled in school is the next one down. When those leads come in, the only action item we want them to do is to schedule a call on your calendar when they're within 2 weeks from taking their final exam. And that's really important because we don't want to have to put extra work on you. We don't want you to have to talk to them too early or too late, right? There's a sweet spot in there when you want to talk to those leads. And so we are dripping on them over time. That one has a fully built out 6-month drip. And so if they're not ready today, and maybe it takes 3 months to do their schooling that they've already started, you're still dripping on them every single week, and that's hitting their email. And so those leads are scheduling calls on your calendar when you're available. And then the not enrolled in school, we only have one main action, and that is for them to sign up for school. They need to decide to do it or don't do it, right? And you have the ability on our sites to either turn on or off K-score, whether you want to use that or not. And our people are recruiting that are using our sites are recruiting all over the country through this process. So again, we're driving those people to the next logical step in the process to maximize your time so that you're only doing the most dollar productive things. And what's really cool is we've also partnered with some online real estate schools, and they will give you affiliate commission when people sign up for school through your link. And so some of our people are earning, couple $100 a month or a quarter or whatever from people who are clicking their link, signing up for school. And so they benefit that way as well. And then the final step 3 is the discovery call. Once someone schedules a call with you, you get on a call with you. We teach you a scripted process of how to do that. It is the easiest call in the world. I've got people who do it in 30 minutes. I've got people who do it in 20 minutes, and I've got a handful of people who do it in 10. And it's pretty cool. And so they do a quick discovery call, and then they get them connected to a market center. And that's basically it. It's not overly complicated. Keiston, I see you shaking your head. It's not overly complicated. The magic is all what's happening behind the scenes that you don't even see. But for your purposes, you're really just looking at, you're setting your calendar of when you want appointments. You're looking at your calendar to see when people are scheduling. And then you're just making sure you're driving leads to your recruiting website. If you do that well, the rest of it takes care of itself. Right. And then the backside would be, there is a little bit of follow-up, right? Because you can imagine you're getting on these calls with people, and over time, you're going to have more and more people on your pipeline. And so we then coach our partners who are using our sites how to set up a basic pipeline to be able to track those people and maximize their time to work them from conversation until they join KW. Okay. Now I'm going to quickly walk through the 4 levels. And then what I want to do is I'll come off and let's do some Q&A. And we can kind of talk through this. You guys can ask me any questions you want. But here are the 4 levels. You know, Gary teaches us the 7 levels, right, of a millionaire real estate agent business. As we rolled this out and I saw people jumping on it and started having success, I realized there's going to be an evolution of this, which is pretty cool. So these are the 4 levels that we're going to see over the next decade of people who are recruiting at the highest level inside of KW. Level 1 is you do it. This is a great model. Most of our people are doing it. The benefit of the you do it model is you get 50% of everyone who joins KW. You get the first level gets 50%. So you're getting the maximum amount of profit share from growing your first level, and you're getting to grow your level 1 really wide, which is great because over time, Russ, if you grow it wide, what happens? It grows deep. It goes deep, right? So you're really focusing on growing your first level wide, and then time's going to build it deep. Some people, though, they're going to look up and they're going to be like, hey, this is really great. You've helped me be able to only do the 20% that matters. But what if I really only want to do 10% or 5%? Like, how do I get even more leveraged? They're going to look up and they're going to say, hey, I either have an EA or I'm going to get an EA, or maybe it's a virtual EA. And they're going to be on every call with me. And then they're going to do all the little stuff that has to happen, right? Like after you have a phone call, being able to figure out what market center they need to be associated with, and then getting that phone number and handing it to you, like all the little things that add up over time. They're going to be highly leveraged people. So they're going to go out, they're going to help people buy and sell real estate. They're going to have a couple of recruiting calls a week, and their EA is going to take care of all the rest. All right. And then level 3, this is what I do with Nick. I love level 3. Level 3 is awesome. I don't have the time to do it. And so Nick does it. And so I benefit because Nick's in my downline. So some of you may look up and be like, hey, I'm not as passionate about it, but who in my downline or who in my family, maybe my spouse has extra time and they're interested in helping us build our passive income. Could I leverage them and put them in my downline and then have them do this? You 100% could. And so there's some people in our company right now who are doing this process. I've got one guy, I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying it's happening. This is the cool part of being in the seat I'm in, is I get to see all these people being real creative with this. One of our partners, he's not even doing the calls. His assistant is doing the calls and getting people in his downline, which I'll be honest, I didn't know if that was going to work. But he's added 5 people in 2 months into his downline by doing that. He doesn't even do the calls. He has his EA do the calls. So in terms of having an EA, like when you think about how do I have an executive assistant that I'm maximizing like what I'm paying for them? Well, he's proving there's a model out there where you could do that. Pretty amazing. And then level 4 is the best, which is where they all do it, where you have multiple people in your downline. And Nick's actually doing this in his downline right now. He's got 2 or 3 people that he's coaching to go build their downlines. And he's doing it, and he's got people in his downline doing it, and therefore he wins, right? So with that being said, that is the recruiting website process. What questions or thoughts, comments do you guys have for me? Did I convince anyone? Is anyone like, this is it? This is the way?
Hey, Press, I have a question. So how do they, because K-score is obviously preferable in the manner for the recruits that it's at no cost to them. We're sponsoring them in that. But then with the Real Estate Express, I know that's one that we partner with. How do we leverage like where K-score is either A, not available, or putting them into which school program? I know you said you can turn it on or off, but explain a little bit more about that,
Yeah,
please.
great question. So generally speaking, our partners either choose to have it on or off. To be honest with you, most of our partners actually have it off. Our process today is we start with it off, and if you want it on, you ask us and we'll kick it on for you. And the reason for that is this. The challenge here is the challenge with K-score when you're recruiting nationwide, which is the process our people are doing. When you get a K-score lead, it's such a long nurture process because they're at the phase of like, do I even want to do this, right? So you not only have to help them decide yes or no, but you then have to connect them to a market center. They then have to sign up for schooling through K-score, and then they have to go through all their classes, and then they join. So for most of our people, they're trying to do it faster. So most of them turn K-score off for that reason because of the long-term nurture. Now, here's the cool thing. If you choose to keep, and we've got many people, again, Brian and Keystone are a good example. They have K-score turned on and they're crushing it with K-score, but it's a more, it's a more involved process because of that. But what's cool about the way our sites work now, if you have K-score turned on, for all the not in school people who are getting dripped on that says, hey, why don't you sign up for your real estate classes? When they click that link, they're taken to a map of the United States. When they click a state that doesn't have K-score, we don't show them K-score. We show them your links for your other schools. When they click a state that does have K-score, it shows them the K-score option. So in that sense, you've got some flexibility there. But again, most of our people, right, wrong, or indifferent, they choose to turn K-score off just because of the longer term nurture, but it's totally up to you. You can do either way.
Thank you.
You bet. Great question.
Press, there's some questions in the chat.
Okay. Which one is the website? I'm not sure what that means. You want to elaborate on that?
Which of the 4 levels, I think is what he means.
Of the 4 levels I showed,
Mhm.
They're all leveraging a website. What I'm showing you in that process is just who's doing it, right? They all have the websites, just which, is it you doing it? Is it someone in your downline who's doing it? I've got people who, they will pay for the system for someone in their downline to do it for a time to get them going. And then they turn it over to them to handle the payment. Or I've got people who they just go and bring them the opportunity and help sell them on the idea, and then they do it. So it just depends on how you want to do that. Which one is, either you're leveraging it, some of your downlines leveraging it, and then you can choose who's paying for it. You pay for it, they pay for it, however you want to do that. Brandon asked the cost, how much time? Okay, great question. So in terms of, let me show you. Actually, I'll just walk you through it. So the cost, there's a one-time setup fee of $299 to help build your site and get it up and running. And then it's $50 a month after that. So that's the recruiting website. And we, to be honest with you, we could have made it more expensive, but we chose not to, because part of Linda and I's vision is we want to help a lot of KW agents build their wealth. And so this isn't for Linda and I, this isn't like, we're not trying to get rich on this. We want to help more people. So, that's our model. That's what we want to do. And then you should budget for ads. And so generally speaking, we coach our people, depending on how, do you want to go like hardcore, or do you want to just dip your toe in the water? Our people generally are spending $150 a month up to $500 a month on ads. It just depends on where you want to be. You have total control over how much you spend. And that's up to you. In terms of time, I've got people who do a few hours a week. I've got people who do up to half of their time. Like Nick spends I think it's about 15 to 20 hours a week on recruiting. And he has about 5 recruiting appointments a day, Monday through Friday. Okay. Then I've got people who are spending 10 hours a week, and they do 2 recruiting calls. They try to do 2 recruiting calls a day, 2 to 3. I would tell you, if you want to recruit 100 people in a year, you should shoot for 4 to 5 recruiting appointments a day. And if you do that, you'll recruit over 100. But again, not everyone wants to go that big up front. And so I would tell you, try to make time for at least 2. And remember, I said some people are doing them in 10 minutes and some people are doing them in 30. So let's just say you allocate an hour for 2 recruiting calls a day, right? And then maybe another hour for follow-up, because that's going to build up over time, right? Some of our people do calls Monday through Wednesday or Monday through Thursday, and then Friday is their follow-up day. So they block off maybe 2 hours just to make sure they're touching on recruits that they've handed off to market centers, and they're able to stay on top of that. Russ asked where to sign up. You can go to profitsharemastery.com. I'll put it in the chat. Profitsharemastery.com. And you can, there's two, you're going to see two buttons. There's going to be get the masterclass, or there's going to be get a site. Get a site is the button you want to click if you want the recruiting website. And that's how you sign up for that. Let's see, Bree, I thought I heard at FR that the website/class is being updated soon. If we sign up now, will we be given access? Okay, so Bree, what you're talking about is our master class. Linda and I have a course that's $497, and you have lifetime access to it, and it's pre-recorded, and you can watch at your own pace. We just redid it, and so yes, if you sign up for that, you'll be, and it's probably going to drop within the next. It'll be in April. You'll get it this month, but we have the old version of the course. But because of the last year with everything we learned, we redid the course because we have so many people who are now using this new way to grow their downline. So we redid the course and refilmed everything to make sure we included all the best practices around leveraging a recruiting site. You don't have to get that if you get a recruiting site, but you can if you want to really learn best practices and things like that. You can get that course, but the recruiting sites would be the main thing. If you're like, I'm going to go all in, I'm going to do this. And then we also do, Keista knows he's on most of our calls, but every month, Linda and I do a recruiting mastermind. And that's our commitment to everyone who uses our system, is that we're going to help coach and train you through this. And so we do a mastermind every single month to help our people make sure that they know how to do it at the highest level. What percentage do we receive from recruited agents' performance? Jeff, you get 50% of what is profit shared from that individual off of their first level, right? So meaning if let's say you sponsored me into the company, and I go and sell a house in so-and-so market center, and let's say that my contribution to profit share is $1,000 that month, you're going to get, because I'm on your first level, you're going to get 50% of that pool. So you get 500 of the 1,000. So it just varies depending on how profitable market centers are in different areas. Part of the advantage of our of people who are recruiting in this style is they're not recruiting in one location. They're recruiting all over the country. And because of that, you're diversifying your downline. And so, that way, in case something, like God forbid, something happens in a random state in a market center, right? Market center blows up, something happens. Your profit share doesn't just die, right? Like you're diversified because Nick has recruits in almost all 50 states. And so he is highly diversified in his profit share from where he gets profit share. Yeah, great question. Okay, is there a fee for the case score? No, here's what's cool. I love our market centers. We have the coolest group of owners in all of real estate. So not every market center has to have case score, but most of the states that require it, I believe most do. And so those market center owners have made the decision to pay a monthly fee so that anyone, if anyone in that area wants to sign up for case score and that market center is paying for it, then they can have access to it. So there's no fee for you for that ability to use that tool, which is pretty cool. Yeah, case score, I don't know what it stands. They changed the name. If anyone knows it, type in the chat, please. But it used to be it's like the Keller School, something. Basically, it's a partnership with Kaplan. You can tell I really know it. It's a partnership with Kaplan that allows for people to get licensed for no cost to them. No cost to them. So it's a really awesome tool that our people either choose to or not to use to help get more people in their downline, which, by the way, let me tell you one other thing that's really interesting. In real estate, what is the only asset that you actually own? Someone type it in the chat. What's the only asset you actually own? In real estate, your real estate business, the only asset you own. You only own one. Not your, yeah, your database. That's it. 100%. Your database is the only asset you actually own. How do I know this? Because it's the only sellable thing in your business. You can't sell you, right? But you can sell your database. In fact, Jim and Linda McKissack sold their book of business for over $1 million. So just so you can kind of stretch your mind a little bit and think of what's possible. Now, here's what's cool. The reason why I say that is because in this process, you're building up I mean, our people who are recruiting, they're throwing off a lot of leads. They're building a massive database of people who are not licensed, who've raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in real estate. But for whatever reason, 95% of those people don't take action. But here's what's cool. Just like our databases in real estate, they may not sell today, but they might sell when? A month from now, a year from now, 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, right? Like just because they don't decide today doesn't mean that they're never going to do it. So I've got people right now I've got one person, I think it's Chad and Carrie. They have over 9,000 leads that they've generated in the last 12 months using this process, recruiting leads. Most of those people are not licensed, but guess what? Those are great leads that they're thinking in their head. They're like, oh my gosh, we could build a referral network. We could there's so many things that they could do with that list. And so one of the things they're doing is they're taking that list of people and they get dripped on through our system for 6 months. But after that, we don't have like a longer tail at least right now of a drip. So what they're doing is they're taking those people, they're putting them into like a MailChimp or some other email automation system. Some of them are putting into Command, and then they're doing career nights every single month with those people. They just blast out, hey, we're going to do another career night. We're going to do another career night every single month. Because what do they know? Someone who doesn't decide today might decide tomorrow, right? And so they're building this amazing database. And then on those calls, they're starting to find unique ways to be able to help those people. And some of them are thinking about offering coaching. Hey, if you want to get into real estate, but you're not ready yet, I will offer to coach you for X amount of money a month to help you get there. I mean, there's an endless a number of ideas about what people are doing with this method, which are really super cool from a building a database standpoint and having like a real asset that could generate other kinds of income that you may not even be considering today. All right, what else? Keeson, I want to give you a shout out, by the way, man. Congratulations. You're killing it, dude. You're rocking it for Brian and for you. Way to go, man.
Thank you.
Anything you want to share? You use the process. Anything you want to say?
I would say my best advice is it's a long-term game, just like real estate is, as we all know. So it's definitely not short-term. So you got to stick with it, and over time you're going to build your downline. That's for sure.
Yep.
Hey,
Yep,
Chris.
that's true. Hey.
Hi. Is there any out of the box areas that you've found useful for like recruiting? Like I know Julia Lachey was talking about like maybe underserviced areas or different things like that. Is there any ideas that you have that are off the beaten path?
That's a great question. I've got some people who are testing out YouTube right now. And I will tell you, YouTube in your real estate businesses and for recruiting everyone needs to be leaning into video because it's the future. It's going to continue to be the future. It's grown in massive waves, right? When you think about most of you, when you open up Facebook or Instagram, you go to the videos, right? You're watching the videos. And so I've got one guy who started a YouTube channel and he had one, like I looked at it when we put it in our Profit Share Mastery course, masterclass. And he only had one subscriber, right? So he literally just started, but here's the deal. He put on one YouTube short and had 406 views. That's amazing. Like that's really good. So there's, I think out of the like different ideas would be leveraging YouTube. That would be a really smart way, leverage video. I've got some people who are starting to try some direct mail, combining the marketing they're doing in their sales business with recruiting, right? Because think about it right now. Every wealthy person, what they do is they find ways to make multiple streams of income from the same activity. So if you advertise have you thought about buying a house, selling a house, and then you layer in or joining or getting your real estate license? Like you've layered in one more opportunity for you to get more names. And then I think of what else has been outside the box. Video's been the one that I'm most excited about, to be honest with you. The outside of that, like as much as we all want to be creative, what I would tell you is the job boards are the best place to go, because what's cool about a job board, Indeed, LinkedIn, what's cool about those platforms is people are on there searching to make a change. If you go to Facebook or YouTube or any other platform, you're just it's interrupt marketing, right? Like you're trying to catch their attention, and then you're trying to find the right demographic and then help them see why they need to take action on whatever, click the link or whatever. With a job board, they're already on there searching. Like the hard part is over of getting them interested in making a change or making a move. That's the hardest part. So you're really then just like paying enough money to go capture a lead. So as much as it's not as sexy, like just doing what, like the basics, the fundamentals, which is using a job board, that is by far has been the best system platform to use. Yeah. It is different. So just so y'all know, it is different than the platform Michael Trithart has. And so Aaron's actually partnered with us. I don't know what happened there, but Aaron's partnered with Linda and I on our recruiting sites. So if you see him talking about it in his Profit Share Facebook page, he's talking about our recruiting sites.
Yeah, he talked about it last month. He was on our call last month and he talked about it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very cool. All right. Anything else? Any other questions or thoughts? I would love to hear some ahas or takeaways. Anyone have anything interesting that they took away or
I have a quick question for you. I have 3 people in K-Score right now. And what's the best way for me to support them? Because all of them seem to be struggling, whether it's technical knowledge or like one gal has a traumatic brain injury from a car accident. She's recovering from a concussion. And it's just a bad time in her life for her to be staring at a screen for like 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
so it's not like a long-term, like, I don't think it's going to be a contractual problem, legal problem later on, but she's just healing right now. Right. What things can I do to support them through this, because they're not all online learners?
That's a really good question. Here's what I would tell you. The first thing is, this may not be I don't mean this meanly at all. I mean,
for sure. Yeah, you're good.
We should help everyone that we can. And at the same time, the best thing to support her might be that, like, give her the grace that it's going to take her time, right? Like it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
But what I would tell you is this is a numbers game. Growing your downline in this style is a numbers game. The people that sometimes I hop on calls with people who are a little frustrated because they're like, they've got like 5 recruits and they're just focused on those 5 recruits. And what I always tell them is like, hey, you should focus on having as many first-time appointments as possible.
Okay.
And then the way I tell you to leverage all the other people, especially K-Score, here's what I would do. I would have a Facebook community that I would go and create. Call it whatever you want, real estate career success, whatever cool name you want to come up with. Build a Facebook community. I know it is online. I wish it could be in person, but because you're recruiting people all over, like that may be the best. And most of the people will really love that. Build a Facebook community. All of your people who sign up for K-Score should go in that Facebook group. And then how you can help support them is add things, add video, add resources, add comments in that group, and let that grow over time. That's going to grow to be a living, breathing community of people who are all on the same mission. And if you're the person who's adding value in that group, and by the way, it's highly leveraged because you're not talking one-to-one, you're talking one to what?
However many are in there. Yeah.
One to many, right?
Right.
And so you're highly leveraged of your time. And again, you don't know what other opportunities could come from that over time, right? Like maybe that group gets so big and you could offer some more in-depth training, coaching, whatever for that group. But what I would tell you is leverage the power of Facebook, build a Facebook community, put all of them in there, and then add value to all of them at the same time through and again, what I always tell people is what you want to help people with who are enrolled in school. Look, the school's going to help them get licensed. That's not your job. Your job is motivation of like, hey, you got this, like encouragement. You can do this. You can figure it out. Then the other piece is how to have success in your first year. Don't worry about having a successful career. Don't worry about what they need to do in 5 years. Worry about what they need to do to have success in the first year. Because what do you know? If they have success in year 1, what's going to happen?
They're going to stay motivated.
They're going to have a successful career.
Yeah.
So that's what I always coach our people to do. That's how I built our drips. For everyone who is enrolled in school, it's all talking about how to have a successful first year in real estate, because that's what matters to that group. That's what's actually important, versus what they're learning in school is good to keep them out of jail, but it doesn't actually help them go and have a successful first year in real estate. Does that help?
It does. Thank you so much.
You bet. Great question. Hey, anything
Hey,
else?
Press, I think we're about out of time. This was great. And I signed up a second ago while you were talking. I already filled out my form. So I love it. And one of my kids is going to be manning this for me. So thanks for adding a lot of value for us today.
You bet. I'm honored to be with all of you. And what I would tell you all is don't walk over dollars to get to dimes in this company. Go build an amazing business. And at the same time, let's be as purposeful as we can. And let's go take the tiger by the tail, right? Gary gave us profit share. Let's go after it.
Love it. All right. Have a great day, everyone.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Thank
being
y'all.
here.
Thanks, Press.
Thank y'all. See ya.
Bye.